Yeah, you got to watch those guys from Essex. I literally wanted to crawl under a rock at that time. And that day struck a fire under my ass. I was like, you son of a bitch. Let me tell you what money making is all about. I'm going to find a way, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to show you sons of bitches what real money is. I crept underneath the dock door so that way they wouldn't hear me. Because I think at the time, Glenn, who was the boss, the manager, the son of the owner, his dad, Marty, he said something that day that literally got under my skin. And I was like, who the hell do you think you are? Now, let me paint a picture for you. This guy, he owned a lot of Section 8 real estate down in Baltimore, made $30,000 a month in Section 8 income, living as a slumlord, okay? His vending business, he had 3 routes. I ran one of them. My route did $147,000. And I guess that was the middle route. The largest one was ran by his cousin. And there was another guy that ran a smaller route that I think it did like $100,000. And granted, the business was 50-50. You know, whatever you paid, you basically made that. And then you had to take costs of any kind of employee or whatever. And we just simply got really dirt income. That day, when I went home, I talked to my uncle. And this is why I believe college is a scam. Okay, and I say it all the time, college is an absolute friggin' scam. I went to school after high school, did all the accelerated learning, all the additional things, and I was very high in math, science, and computer programming and operations. I was into all that stuff. When I was in 6th grade, I was making my own programs, making my own video games. Okay, it is what it is. Now, today, all the programming languages that are available, I don't keep up with it because I'm not trying to be a computer programmer. I'm not trying to be an employee, and I could care less. But that day when I came home and that employer of mine offended me without knowing that he offended me, obviously I couldn't quit because I needed the money. But I talked to my uncle, who was a University of Maryland graduate in finance and business management. And I said to him, I said, you know, what would you do if this happened? And I explained what I just told you. And he was like, what did I ask? Like, did you say anything to him? I said, no, I was embarrassed. Like, I mean, I'm from Middle River, which is across the street, basically, from Essex, which is down the street from Dundalk, Maryland. Okay. And they are like the armpits of Maryland. Okay. Like, as far as like white trash, like that's the areas where you see it from. And I can say that because I came up from it. So a lot of good people live in there, and they still do. But generally, you know, you get the Rough Riders from that area. And some folks that are from this area, when they hear me talk, they can hear, like when I say use, like that's a slang that you can basically tell if somebody's from, you know, Middle River, Essex, Dundalk, that vicinity. We all have that kind of vernacular, that little accent. But my uncle told me, he said, you know, you just got to get yourself a good education and just pursue what you were in school for. I said, I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to do it. When I got out, I couldn't get a job with all the programming. I couldn't do it. I studied COBOL, CICS, Pascal, Basic, C++, and I didn't want to be in the video game making. Like, I didn't want to do that. At the time, the visibility, and I was really wrong, I didn't see that as a industry that would have been growing, because I watched it transform so much from like Atari 25 or 2600 when I was a kid. We all have PlayStation and Xboxes now, but when I was a kid, it was Atari 2600. Like, you weren't it if you didn't have that. Okay. So I've watched all the transitions, and I was like, you know, I just think it evolves too fast, and I just don't see myself being able to do that. But I was wrong in that regard, because if I would have gotten into game making, I probably would have done well. But, and I know this probably has nothing to do with trading, and some of you are like, man, get to the point. The point is you all ask how I think and interpret and how I got to where I am and how do I get through all the struggles. Well, this is one of those struggles that lit a fire under my ass. A boss literally basically said that I was trash. Didn't say the words trash, but that's what it is. So when I talked to my uncle that day when I came home, because I actually lived with them, I rented a room and board, $50 a week. And I told him, I said, Uncle Stan, I'm mad. Like, I'm pissed off at this guy. Like, I want to go back and tell him off, but if I do, he's going to fire me. He's like, well, the best way to live well is, the best revenge is to live well. You just go and do something better for yourself. And then when it's time, leave. But I didn't have an answer for how to do that. Like, I didn't know what it is that I would be doing to make money. Not that I was making a lot of it under them, but I spent an average of 13 hours a day doing that garbage job and listening to his lies saying, I'm going to make you a route manager one day and you're going to be $500 a week. Now, $500 a week back then in 1990, 91? 91. I literally swallowed that hook, line, and sinker thinking $500, that's mad money. Like, that's crazy money back then. $500 is nothing. Like, my stop loss. My stop loss per tick is like that now. So the bottom line is I was pissed off and I wanted to find a way. I wanted to find a way to get out of that situation. And my uncle's advice was go back to school and pursue more of the languages that are available today. Now, this is a guy who I love. He was a father figure in a period of my time of growing up. He let me move into his home and they treated me very good. But this is the same person, and this is what I said, don't take life advice from people that have a lot of drama in their life. And there's people out there that critique me very hard, and they assume the things I talk about and say aren't good advice. But if you look around, there's a lot of folks, since I've been public teaching, they're showing the results. They're doing those funded accounts. I'm seeing people getting paid, not just the acceptance of these funded accounts. And I'm not going to sit here and rep anyone's company because I don't have any affiliation. And please, if you're part of those companies, don't reach out to me anymore because I'm not going to, rep you. I don't do those things. Just like brokers, I don't rep a broker either. I'm not introducing broker. I'm not trying to get you to do anything except for invest in time with yourself and believe in yourself, because I'm telling you right now, going to college is the biggest fucking scam you'll ever do. And I don't care if you make money because you went to college. The world has changed. Look around. Look around. People have no idea what's about to come. They have no idea what's coming. I've been talking to my students, telling them, before Trump got elected, I said all of this stuff was coming. It's in video, it's documented, period. The things that are coming, you're not ready for. Your job is not guaranteed. Your boss thinks the same way about you, like I just described my old boss when I was a young man. They're not going to tell you because they can get a lot of trouble today where, back then, a lot of things, you can get away with a lot of things back then. But I was taking advice from a guy that went to college, graduated a very high GPA, business management, a math scholar, but he was managing a Kentucky Fried Chicken. KFC. Yeah. Here's my uncle, the guy I learned about trading from, who couldn't make money outside of the first initial plunge into it, where he made money to buy a condominium down in Ocean City in Sugar. And he told me when I was 15 years old and 16 years old, every Sunday at my grandmother's, the richest people in the world, Michael, trade futures and options. Get yourself a good job, become an electronic technician, save up, invest, and live like the fat cats. Well, at 15 and 16, hearing that, I'm interested in martial arts. Okay, I'm going to run my own martial arts school. I'm not interested in all that stuff. It sounds like the stock market. That's over my pay grade as a kid. I'm not interested. I hadn't really worked yet. And then when I started working, I was thinking, this sucks. First job was a dishwasher at Gerspec's grocery store. But I looked at my uncle that day and I told him, I said, can I tell you something? And I want you to know that I'm saying this with love, and I just want to know things better. But how do you feel knowing that you waste